Welcome back. We're coming to you from Washington, D.C. as we dig into some of the tough policy issues facing the cattle industry. And joining us now to talk more about NCBA's efforts to protect cattlemen and women is Allison Rivera, NCBA's Executive Director of Government Affairs. Allison, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Happy to be here.
So let's talk midterm elections. How are the results of the midterm elections going to impact the work you and the NCBA team does?
Sure. So obviously there's going to be a new set of members coming into town, and so my team, the first thing we're going to do is get into those offices and become fast friends with those staff and those members of Congress and make sure that they know what the priorities are for our members. And so getting in there early and letting them know what's important to our producers is going to be our first job.
Now, one topic of concern we've talked about before is cattle transportation. Why does this continue to be such an important topic?
It's an important topic because we have to get our cattle where they need to go safely. Right now we're sitting on an ELD delay and we're grateful for that, but we are continuing to work on the bigger issue at hand, which is hours of service. At the end of the day, the biggest issue is getting those animals safely where they need to go, and we continue to send that message over to our friends at DOT.
Fantastic. And if there's one thing you'd like producers to know about some of the behind-the-scenes work and the value of the behind-the-scenes work that goes on here in D.C., what would that be?
I would say that a lot of the work that we do, our members never know anything about. The conversations that we have with the agencies, with the members of Congress that we have the pleasure of working with day in and day out, a lot of the work gets done behind the scenes to where we don't have to worry or bother our producers. We get the job done, and then the best part is we get to give them the good news of that win that we get to deliver to them.
Some producers may wonder why NCBA needs to have two offices, one here in D.C. and one in Denver. What's the value of having an office right here in D.C.?
So 9 times out of 10 when I speak to a rancher and I say, have you ever been to D.C.? And some have and some haven't, but honestly a lot of them don't love the idea of coming to D.C. and they thank us for being willing to live here and work here and do the work for them. And so I think our team is grateful to be able to work here for our producers and to take care of the nitty-gritty stuff here while they're taking care of the most important thing, which is taking care of their cattle in their homes. And so we are more than happy to be here in D.C. to do the work on their behalf to get those wins for them.
And Allison, what can producers do to help support your efforts here in our nation's capital?
As a former Hill staffer, I always tell people it's so important that people are calling their members of Congress, especially with this new batch of members coming in January. You have to reach out to those members and let your voice be heard. If they don't hear from you, they sometimes don't know that there's an issue. You have to call, you have to email, you have to send snail mail and light up those phones and let them know that you're concerned. And then also just reaching out to our office in D.C. and letting us know what your concerns are so that we can help you and do that job. beefusa.org is a great place to go for helpful information about the priorities that we're working on to fight for our members.
Very good. Thank you so much for all your efforts and for coming on our show.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, if you'd like to support the beef industry, why not become an NCBA member? By doing so, you'll be sustaining the work of NCBA in defending and advocating for the cattle industry in Washington, D.C. It's easy to do. Just call 1-866-233-3872, or you can visit the website joinncba.org.